Welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy. I am so excited that you're here, and I cannot wait to watch you, all the things you're going to do inside the Academy over the coming weeks. I wanted to kick things off with a quick little run through of how I want you to start to see your space and help you start to visualize where the kitchen garden is going to go and which type of kitchen garden is going to fit your space best. So I have a couple of slides I'm going to pull up here, and I just want to walk you through how I want you to think through your location and your particular kitchen garden design so that we get it right the first time. Okay, so we've got three steps here to the Gardenary setup. I'm going to quickly walk you through each and every one of them. The first is picking your location. This is the most important aspect. I want you to be sure that you're considering your sunlight, your water source, your accessibility, and also the aesthetics. We're going to go through each one of these. So before you pick your garden spot, I want you to go out and you're going to find south. Find this is if you're in the northern hemisphere. Flip it if you're south. And I want you to figure out where south is and take note of any tall structures. You want to be, if you can, on the southern side of a tall structure. So if you've got a tree line, if you've got a home, if you can be on the south side of that, that is ideal. You can still garden if you're on the north side, but you're not going to have nearly as much sun as you will on the south side. So if you can, put your garden on the south side of a tall structure. We want to maximize our sunlight. Don't forget that leafy greens, root crops, they can still grow if you have less sun, but we want to just get the most that we possibly can. Okay, so get on the south side of tall structures when you're picking your location. Next, I want you to think about your water source. If you can, we want to be as close as possible to a water source, whether it's the hose on the side of your home or if you have an irrigation system already set up. Just pay attention to the easiest way to tap into your water source. And we want to think about putting your garden in that place. Next, we want to think about accessibility. So if we can, I'd love for your kitchen garden to be right off your back door or as close to your side door, any kind of place where you're going to be exiting your home. If it can be as close to that as possible, that is the goal. All right. Think about your traffic patterns, where you go during the day. And I'd love for your garden to kind of get in your way, if you know what I mean. Near the kitchen is the goal because we are building a kitchen garden here. So next we're going to think about aesthetics. So take a little look at your house, think about your decor, think about the style of your home, any other features that you really love that you want to play up with your garden. Think about those as we plan out what your garden's going to look like. Just kind of take a little bit of time and write down some words that signify the type of style of your home, the type of look that you'd like your kitchen garden to have. I took my friend Natalie, she's a neighbor here in my neighborhood, and she had this aesthetic for her garden. Now it got hit by a tree, so it was kind of dented. But we were like, this doesn't really match the feeling of your home. And we majorly upgraded it to a Gardenary kit. This is our Natalie garden. And you can tell it so much better fits the feel of her home, the style, and she just loves it so much more. All right, once we pick the location, I want you to think about these structures. And these are going to go, we're going to go deeper into this inside the course, but I wanted to be sure you have the overview here. So we have four key structures that I want to be sure you've got in your garden: raised beds, trellises, pathways, and borders. Even in my wild Nashville garden, you can see all four of these pieces together, working together to create this really incredible feeling in the garden space. So for raised beds, we want to be sure that you're growing at least 6 inches or a foot above the ground. This is going to give you the best chance at success in using the Gardenary method. The raised beds give you a fresh start. You can start with our Gardenary soil blend. It's going to improve your drainage. You'll be able to have temperature control over your beds, and it's just so much more comfortable to garden in. Our goal here with Kitchen Garden Academy is to get you into the garden more often. So we have this little checklist, and this is when you're considering what type of material you want to use for your garden. As you can see from me, wood gardens check all the boxes. I love metal ones as well, but the wood ones are going to be more affordable. And when you use our eco stain, you can really make them more natural, more durable as well, so that they last even longer. Next, we add trellises, and this is for several different reasons. One, this is going to provide support for our vining vegetables. It's going to like double our growing space, and it also provides this year-round interest. So even if things aren't really alive and growing in the garden still looks beautiful. We've got three different types of trellises: panel, obelisk, and arch. And you can use a different kind of trellis depending on how your garden is going to be set up. So panels allow you to grow like at the back of the bed. Obelisks are right down the middle. And then the arches are great for connecting beds to one another. The third element, the third structure we want are borders. And what borders do is they're going to create this feeling of an enclosure for your garden. They're going to signify that the garden has begun and it's separate from the rest of the yard. It's also very practical. This is going to allow you to be able to take care of the garden so much easier because you don't have to be weed eating and dealing with grass and other things around your raised beds. You also are just going to have these nice clean lines where you can do planting and separate the garden from the rest of your space. So you'll have a distinct space. It's going to allow for ease and movement. You want your borders to be durable and secure. And then you generally want to have about 2 to 3 feet from your garden space between the border and the last structure, which is the pathway. So pathways are important. They're often overlooked. I've been in some really fancy gardens that had the tiniest little pathway. So pathways is what's going to make it possible for you to get into your garden space and take care of it. And I generally use about a 3 foot pathway between raised beds so that I've got plenty of room to push a wheelbarrow and get between the gardens. This is going to give you access in and around the garden. It's going to increase the longevity of your beds. And I like to have the paths be at least 2 to 3 feet. You can use any kind of material. My favorite is using gravel. You can do ground cover or things like that, but gravel is generally my go-to for this. All right, I want you now to think in this location where you're going to put your garden, how the measurements are going to add up. And I want to show you 4 different ways that you could set up your kitchen garden depending on your measurements. So here we have 4 different kitchen garden layouts that all are inside of our Gardenary kit system. So first up here, we have the standard square. And this is going to be if you've just got 1 square of space where a garden would fit, about 16 square feet, that's going to be the garden for you. Next, we have what we call a border garden, and this is Natalie's. And this is where the garden is pushed up against a fence, a line, a house, a driveway. And in this case, the beds could be 2 to 4 feet, depending on if you can get to them from all 4 sides. So here we've got our border garden. Then here we have a square space. So if you've got square measurements, something where you're able to block off a part of the yard as an entire square, then this 4 Garden Classic is great for you. It's 4 4x4 beds. And then here, finally, this is called the Marnie, and these are 4 4x8 beds, and I'm going to show you all these in distinction. This is perfect if you've got a larger space that is more of a rectangle than a square. So first, let's look at the Natalie garden so you can see if this design could work for you. So the space is 6 feet wide and it is 21 feet long. The whole garden space is around 120 square feet. Now you can see here we have 2 4x8 by 2 foot beds, and this gives us 64 square feet of growing space. So we've got 2 of these Gardenary cedar beds, 1 arch trellis tying them together. And this is perfect for fitting in a border space. Now here we're going to have about 125 plants inside the Natalie. It's going to take you about an hour a week to take care of these, and you're going to get about 1 to 2 harvests a week from this space. So many great reviews come out for our cedar beds. Tanya said, these are awesome. We had 40-mile-per-hour wind and they held up great. And these beds are set to be really easy to install and have a great sturdy design for them. All right, so that's if you want to go on a border, if you've got a rectangular space that is going to go, say, along a fence or part of your home. And with this Natalie, I want to say you want to be sure you can go all the way around the bed. If you can't, we can help you shrink the bed to be a 2 foot wide bed instead. We can totally make that adjustment for you. Now, the Allison garden, this is for 4x4 beds. So it's about the whole space is 13 feet wide and 13 feet long. So as you can see, instead of being a long, narrow space, we've got an entire square here, and we have four 4x4 beds. So this gives us 64 square feet of growing space. So it's actually the same amount of growing space as from the Natalie, but it's just set up more as like a full garden feeling, right? Where you're walking in between these beds rather than alongside the border. So this is four raised beds and two arched trellises, and it combines together to give you the same amount of plants, same amount of tending time and harvest per week. You just have it in a much more formal setting where it feels a lot more like an outdoor room. We get so many great compliments on these beds that they're easy to assemble, that the trellises are well made, and it all goes together easily. We've tried to create programs and processes and kits for you guys so that you can just plug and play. All the things that took my team so much work to build ourselves, we're trying to get you something right to your doorstep so you don't have to wait and you can just put it all together in a weekend. Now, the Marnie garden is perfect for you if you still want that outdoor feeling, you want that outdoor room feeling, but you've got a longer space to work with. You have more of a rectangle. So the Marnie garden is also 13 feet wide, but it's almost twice as long. We're at about 21 feet long here. So in the total space, we're working at about 273 square feet. We've got four 4x8x2 beds, and then we've got two arch trellises. So we end up with 128 square feet of productive growing space, which is awesome. So we've got these four raised beds, these two arch trellises, and this is going to give us double what we get from the Allison and the Natalie. So it's going to take about 250 plants, about 2 hours a week, and you'll get about 2 to 4 harvests per week from this garden at least. I love Kim and Dave. They said they love the look, the sturdiness, and the functionality of this trellis. And Darlene said the raised beds are amazing, easy to assemble, and perfect size to make setting up your own kitchen garden a breeze. Now, you may have a much smaller space, and for that, I recommend the standard square. So this is a 4x4x2 raised bed with an obelisk trellis right in the middle. So for this, you only need a space that's about 6 feet wide, 6 feet long. Really, you don't even have to have it that big if you don't have room for a border. And this is just 36 square feet of space. So you're going to have 16 square feet of growing space, and you can see how many plants we squeezed into this space. So it's one raised bed and one obelisk trellis all together, and that gives you the standard square. So for this one, you're going to have about 35 plants. Your tending time is cut way down. It's just about 15 minutes a week. And then for your harvest, you're going to get 1 to 3 per month. So not as many, but still tons of production out of this standard square. Sasha said it just took her minutes to assemble and install, and it made it through a full year of high temps and record-breaking rain. And then Jay said it was easy peasy assembly for his 4x4 raised bed box. All right. So these are kits that come all together, shipped to your doorstep, raised bed trellises, even the steel edging to create that border. And when you purchase the full kit from us, when you buy the Allison, the Marnie, the Natalie, or the Standard Square, you're going to get our 4 seasonal garden planners to help you through all 4 seasons in the garden, included as a free bonus. We are also going to include our entire 2026 Gardenary seed system, which is almost $150 worth of seeds, and we're going to include that for free as well. So as you pick out the garden kit that best fits your kitchen garden needs, and you pick out the package you'd like, whether it's the Standard Square, the Marnie, the Allison, or the Natalie, when you purchase that complete garden package from us, we're going to ship the entire thing to your doorstep. The raised beds, the trellises, and the steel edging. And then you're going to get these 4 seasonal garden planners plus our entire 2026 Gardenary seed system included as a bonus for free. So our goal here with Kitchen Garden Academy is to get you set up in the kitchen garden as fast as possible. And we found over the years that these kits make that so much easier. You don't have to go and source the wood. You don't have to find someone who can build for you. You don't have to buy all the tools, a miter saw and drills and all the special sanders and finishers. We're going to bring you every single thing you need to build these raised beds. All of the hardware is included. All you need is a drill to just put the hardware together. The trellises come, they hardly need any assembly, just slide together very easily. A few of them have a few screws, but very few. And then that steel edging just slides right into the soil. So the whole thing is set up to come right to your doorstep, to be put together over a weekend, and then boom, you are ready to grow. And if you choose to get one of our Gardenary packages, then we want to be sure you get all 4 planters and all of our seeds completely for free. So I'm going to put a link right below this because I know it may take a little bit of thinking of which kind of package you want to get to set up your kitchen garden. So we'll link all this right below this video, and we'll be following up with you in the next few days. You have a special discount and all these bonuses that are available to you for a few days while you make your decision, step out into your space, pick your location, and decide which package is best for you. If you've got any questions, definitely reply to this email and let us know, and we'll be reaching out to help you get your package set up. And we cannot wait to see all of these beautiful raised beds, trellises come together in your space and to watch it overflow with all the seeds and plants that are coming your way too. Thank you so much for joining Kitchen Garden Academy. This is just the beginning of us growing together this year. I'll see you soon.